Have you ever sat down to work and felt your attention slip away before you even began? You open a document, check your phone, and suddenly, an hour is gone with nothing meaningful done. If this sounds familiar, you are not alone. Our world pushes for speed, multitasking, and constant connection, but the deepest, most creative work asks for something different: quiet focus, clear intention, and long stretches of attention. This is the idea we will explore today. Welcome to BetterSelf, the place where we grow our skills and our English at the same time. Here, we learn how to build better habits, sharper minds, and calmer focuses, all in clear, simple English. Today's episode is about mastering the art of deep work. We will walk through what deep work really is, why it matters, and how you can create it in your life. Each chapter will give you practical steps, stories you can remember, and moments for reflection so that you can practice while you listen. Let's begin. Chapter 1. What is deep work and why it matters? Deep work is focused, uninterrupted work that pushes your cognitive abilities to their limit. It is the state you enter when you write, solve hard problems, create original ideas, or learn complex skills. In deep work, you work with full attention and little distraction. Tasks done in deep work often create high value. They make a difference in your work, your skills, and your life. Think about what happens when you are truly focused. Time seems to pass differently. You may lose the sense of small interruptions. You do not flit between many small tasks. Instead, you concentrate on one meaningful problem, and you feel the satisfaction of making deep progress. That is deep work. It is not simply working for a long time. It is working in a high-quality, focused way. Why does it matter? First, deep work helps you produce better results in less time. A focused hour can be worth many distracted hours. Second, deep work is how you learn fast. The mind needs sustained attention to build new neural connections. When you practice a skill with deep focus, your brain learns more effectively. Third, deep work offers a kind of calm and confidence that shallow work cannot give. Shallow tasks, like answering emails, attending many quick meetings, and switching between apps, give you a feeling of being busy, but not of being productive. Deep work, on the other hand, gives you the feeling of accomplishment and mastery. Consider two contrasting examples. One person spends the day reacting, answering messages, attending short meetings, jumping onto quick tasks. At the end of the day, they feel tired and busy, but they have little progress on major goals. Another person protects long stretches of time. They shut out distractions and work on their most important project. By the end of the week, they have made real progress. A draft written, a problem solved, a new skill practiced. The second person will grow their abilities and create more value. Deep work also helps you stand out. In a crowded job market, many people do ordinary tasks quickly. Those who can focus deeply and produce rare, valuable results will be more in demand. This is true for writers, engineers, students, designers, and entrepreneurs. Deep work is not about talent alone. It is about training your attention and building habits that allow you to do your best work. We will talk in later chapters about how to protect your time, design your environment, and create routines. First, try to notice the difference between shallow and deep tasks in your life. Pick one task that matters, something that will move a project forward or teach you something new. Schedule one long, uninterrupted session for that task. During that time, remove obvious distractions. Turn off notifications, close unrelated tabs, and set a clear goal for the session. Keep it simple. One task, one goal, one block of focused time. Now, imagine your work like a garden. Shallow tasks are like pulling weeds all day. The garden looks busy, but nothing grows. Deep work is like planting seeds and watering them carefully. Real growth appears. The more often you practice this careful planting, the more your garden will thrive. Over the next chapters, We will learn the science behind focus, how to design your space and schedule, techniques to get into deep work, and ways to protect your attention in a noisy world. For now, start with awareness. Notice when you are distracted, and notice how you feel when you are focused. This simple skill, noticing, is the first step toward mastering deep work. Chapter 2. The Science of Focus, How Your Brain Handles Attention. To master deep work, we must first understand how the brain manages attention. Your brain is like a muscle and a filter at the same time. It can focus powerfully, but it also needs rest and the right conditions. When you understand how attention works, you can design better habits that match how your brain naturally operates. Attention has limits. You cannot sustain intense focus forever. Neuroscience shows that the brain spends a lot of energy when it handles a difficult task. That is because deep thinking uses complex networks of the brain that require glucose and oxygen. After periods of intense focus, you will feel tired and need a short break. But you can build the capacity for focused work by practicing. With frequent, deliberate practice, your brain becomes more efficient at directing attention to what matters. Another important idea is task switching. Every time you switch from one task to another, your brain pays a cost. This cost is not just a small delay. Studies of attention show that switching reduces your speed and your accuracy. Imagine driving while constantly looking at the map, then the phone, then the radio. Each small turn of attention costs time and increases the chance of error. The same happens with your thinking. When you multitask, you lose the richness of deep thought. Your ideas become fragmented, and your ability to solve complex problems drops. There is also a difference between automatic and controlled thinking. Automatic tasks are things you have done so often that the mind does them with little effort. Like brushing your teeth or walking a familiar route. Controlled tasks are novel, challenging, and require concentration, like learning a new language or solving a hard math problem. Deep work is mainly controlled thinking. To do it well, you must reduce the load of automatic interruptions and give your controlled processes space to work. One useful way to think about attention is to imagine a spotlight. Your mental spotlight can shine on one place at a time. When you are in deep work, the spotlight shines brightly and steadily on one problem. When you are distracted, the spotlight jumps around. The sharper and steadier your spotlight, the deeper your work will be. Sleep and rest are also vital to focus. Sleep supports memory consolidation and clears metabolic waste in the brain. Good sleep makes your attention sharper. Short naps, mindful breaks, and light exercise during the day can also restore focus. The brain works in cycles, often called ultradian rhythms. These rhythms suggest that we can do focused work for about 60 to 90 minutes, then we need a break to restore attention. Respecting these cycles helps you plan sessions without burning out. Emotion and motivation matter too. When you care about a task, your brain releases chemicals that support focus. That is why meaningful work can feel effortless sometimes, because interest aligns with attention. But even when motivation is low, rituals and routines can push you into focus. The ritual signals to your brain that it is time to work. You can train attention with simple exercises. Meditation, for example, strengthens the capacity to return the mind to a single point of focus. Even short daily practice of focused breathing or mindful observation can help you manage distractions better. Another practice is to keep a distraction log. Each time you notice your attention wandering, write down what pulled you away. Over time, patterns will emerge, and you can remove the common distractions. Practical steps to align with how your brain works include scheduling focused blocks, taking regular short breaks, ensuring good sleep, and reducing switches between tasks. When you plan, choose times of day when your energy is higher. For many people, morning hours are more productive for deep thinking. Test your own pattern. Try doing your hardest work for a week in the morning and see what changes. Now, try a short experiment. Pick a task that requires focus and set a timer for 60 minutes. Before you begin, close every unrelated tab, silence your phone, and write a clear goal for this session. When the timer starts, bring your attention back to the task whenever it wanders. Notice how your mind feels at 15, 30, and 60 minutes. Write a short note about the experience after the session. This simple exercise begins training your brain to sustain focus. Understanding the brain gives you a map. It shows where attention comes from, where it fails, and how you can strengthen it. Use this map to plan your deep work sessions in ways that respect your energy cycles, reduce task switching, and build the skill of sustained attention. Chapter 3. Designing your environment for deep work. Your environment shapes your attention in powerful ways. A cluttered desk, open tabs, or a noisy room make focus hard. A simple, well-organized space invites concentration. Designing your physical and digital environment is one of the fastest ways to improve deep work. You do not need a perfect setup. Small changes, applied consistently, can produce large results. Start with the physical space. Choose a place where interruptions are rare. For some people, that is a private office. For others, it is a quiet corner in a library or a reserved room in a co-working space. If you must work in a noisy environment, consider noise-canceling headphones or white noise to reduce distractions. Keep the area tidy. Clutter draws the eye and the mind. Remove items that do not help your task or store them out of sight. Lighting and comfort matter. Bright, natural light can make you more alert. Comfortable chair and a clean desk help you stay longer without physical discomfort. If you rely on a laptop, raise the screen to eye level and use an external keyboard when possible. Small ergonomic changes reduce physical strain and keep your focus on the work, not on aches and pains. Now think about tools and materials. Have everything you need before you start. Notebooks, reference books, pens, and a glass of water. Gathering materials beforehand prevents breaks that lead to distraction. If you are writing, prepare a clean document with a clear title and an outline. If you are coding, have your environment ready with the right files and terminals open. Preparing reduces friction and helps you move into the work seamlessly. Your digital environment is equally important. Notifications are attention thieves. They claim small amounts of your time, but those amounts add up. Turn off non-essential notifications on your phone and computer. Close tabs that are not part of the task. Use full screen mode for your main application. Some people use browser extensions that hide distracting sites during work periods. Another helpful habit is to separate your communication apps from your deep workspace. Keep email and chat closed until your scheduled shallow work periods. Create a distraction box if needed. When an unexpected idea or task pops into your head, write it down quickly and place the note in the box. This simple act tells your brain that the idea will be handled later. It frees you to return to your deep work without the nagging fear that you will forget something important. Rituals in the environment act as signals for your brain. A ritual can be as simple as making a cup of tea before you start, putting on a particular sweater, or lighting a small lamp. These signals tell your mind, now it is time to focus. Over time, the ritual becomes a cue, and your attention shifts more quickly into deep work. Another design choice is to manage visibility. If you share a workspace, use a sign or a do not disturb indicator to show when you are in deep work. This reduces interruptions from colleagues and family members who may not know your schedule. When possible, communicate your deep work blocks to others so they learn when you are available and when you are not. Consider the role of rules. Rules are simple, environmental constraints that reduce decision fatigue. For example, make a rule: no social media during work hours, or only 2 scheduled check-ins per day. The fewer choices you make about the environment, the more energy you save for the work itself. Real-life example. A writer I know rearranged her small apartment so that her desk faced a blank wall, not the window. She eliminated visual distractions, kept only a notepad and a lamp on the desk, and put her phone in a different room during writing time. Her writing sessions became more productive. She said the blank wall acted like a quiet stage where ideas could take shape without interruption. Designing your environment is not about perfection. It is about reducing friction and making deep work easier. Start with one change today. Silence your phone for a focused session, clear your desk for 15 minutes, or close every tab except the one you need. Notice how small design choices influence your attention. Over time, build an environment that consistently supports your best focus. Chapter 4. Rituals and routines that trigger focus. Human beings love habits. Habits save us mental energy by turning choices into automatic actions. When you want deep work to be reliable, use rituals and routines to make focused attention automatic. A ritual is a short, repeatable procedure that you do before deep work. Routines are broader patterns you follow daily. Together, they help your brain move into focus without a struggle. A powerful ritual has 3 parts: a start signal, a preparation action, and a clear goal. The start signal can be a physical gesture or a small routine, like brewing coffee or closing the door. The preparation action is a brief step to prepare the mind and tools, such as opening a single document or taking 3 slow breaths. The clear goal is a sentence that defines what you will accomplish in the session. For example, you might say, "In this session, I will write 500 words of the project outline." The ritual moves the brain from wondering to task-ready. Routines give structure to the day, so that deep work becomes predictable. Decide which times of day are for focused work and which are for shallow tasks. For many people, morning hours are best for deep thinking. If mornings work for you, make a routine that includes 2-3 focus blocks before lunch. If not, choose a different, consistent time. Consistency trains your brain to expect deep work at certain times, which reduces resistance. One well-known ritual is to create a startup script. This is a short checklist you run at the beginning of each deep work session. The list could be: close email, set timer for 60 minutes, write session goal, make a glass of water, and put phone away. The startup script takes away uncertainty and makes it easy to begin. Another useful ritual is the shutdown routine at the end of the day. This routine closes out unfinished thoughts and prevents work from spilling into rest time. The shutdown routine could include reviewing your to-do list, noting any important open items to address tomorrow, and setting a small goal for the next day. A clear boundary between work and rest helps the brain recover and prepares it for the next deep session. Rituals also help with the inner resistance that comes before starting difficult work. Many people procrastinate because the brain prefers ease. A ritual lowers the activation energy needed to begin. When you have a predictable short sequence to follow, your mind stops arguing and simply moves through the steps. Stories of famous creators show how rituals can support focus. Bill Gates used Think Weeks, where he would retreat to a quiet place and read, think, and write for days. The quiet routine allowed him to process complex ideas. The psychologist Carl Jung built a small stone tower as a retreat where he could work without interruption. These examples show that people who value deep thinking often create special rituals and spaces for it. You can create small rituals that fit your life. For example, a student might begin each study session by clearing their desk, writing the chapter number on a sticky note, and setting a 50-minute timer. A programmer might open one file, write a comment that states the goal, and start. A designer might do 3 quick sketches to warm up before diving into the main work. These small sequences reduce friction and help your mind commit. Routines also include rest habits that support focus. A short walk after a session, a 20-minute nap, or a cup of tea can help your brain recover. Include these small recovery rituals between deep blocks. They maintain your energy and prepare your mind for the next period of attention. Try this now. Design a simple startup ritual. Keep it no longer than 3 minutes. Choose one start signal, one preparation action, and one clear goal statement. Use this ritual the next time you sit down to deep work. Notice how much faster you get started and how much less you resist. Rituals and routines are not rigid rules. They are friendly guides that lower the effort needed for deep work. When you make focused work predictable, you make it possible. Through small, repeatable habits, deep work becomes not a rare state but a regular practice. Chapter 5. Work blocks and scheduling. Planning for depth. One of the best ways to make deep work a reality is to schedule it. Deep work needs time. Without it, you will slip into shallow tasks and reactive work. Scheduling helps you claim those hours and protect them from the constant pull of email and meetings. Planning also reduces decision fatigue. When your calendar determines focus time, you can use mental energy for the work itself. Begin by choosing the length of your work blocks. Most people find that 60 to 90 minutes is a natural stretch for focused attention. This matches the brain's ultradian rhythm, which supports cycles of deep focus followed by rest. Some people can sustain longer periods, while others need shorter bursts with more frequent breaks. Test your own rhythm. Start with a 60-minute block and see how you feel. If you finish strong, try extending some sessions to 90 minutes. Place your most important work blocks when your energy is highest. For many, this is the early morning. For others, it might be later in the day. The key is consistency. Block the same time regularly for deep work. A recurring calendar entry helps you and others know that you are not available during that period. Make your calendar the gatekeeper. When someone requests a meeting, check whether it conflicts with deep work. Protect your deep blocks like important appointments. Treat them as non-negotiable, unless there is an emergency. This approach is not about being rigid. It is about honoring the way your best work happens. Balance deep and shallow tasks with clear boundaries. Shallow tasks are necessary. Answering messages, quick calls, and small administrative work. But these tasks do not need to occupy your most creative energy. Schedule shallow work separately, perhaps in 2 short windows during the day, and do not let shallow tasks fragment your deep blocks. Another option is batching similar tasks. Batching means grouping related, short tasks together and doing them in one session. For example, respond to all emails in one place and time, then return to deep work. Batching reduces switching and saves mental energy. Use themes if planning every day feels heavy. A theme is a weekly focus area. Monday for planning, Tuesday for writing, Wednesday for meetings, and so on. This lets you concentrate on similar activities on certain days and allows larger time blocks for deep work in other parts of the week. A themed week keeps your calendar balanced while still creating regular deep sessions. Set explicit goals for each block. Before each session, write one clear objective. Finish the first draft of Chapter 2, or debug the most complex function, or outline the research paper. A clear goal focuses attention and reduces ambiguity about what success looks like. Consider the chunking strategy too. Chunking means breaking a big project into smaller, manageable segments that can fit into work blocks. Instead of saying, "I will write the whole report," say, "Today, I will complete the report's introduction and first section." This makes deep work less overwhelming and more measurable. Schedule recovery and reflection time as well. After 60 to 90 minutes of deep work, take a 10-20-minute break to move, drink water, and rest your eyes. Use this time to step away completely. Do not check social media. A mindful break restores focus and prevents fatigue. At the end of the day or week, plan a brief review session. Look at what you accomplished and adjust upcoming blocks. People often fear that scheduling deep work will reduce flexibility. In fact, it increases productivity. When you commit to blocks, you are more likely to make meaningful progress. You also create predictable availability for others, which reduces last-minute interruptions. A concrete experiment. Open your calendar and block 2 90-minute sessions for the next 3 days. Write the goal for each session in the calendar description. During those blocks, follow your startup ritual and avoid checking email. After 3 sessions, Review what you accomplished and how your energy felt. This short test will tell you if this scheduling method fits your rhythm. Scheduling deep work is not about perfection. It is about intentionality. When you plan your time around your most important tasks, you create a structure that makes sustained focus possible. The calendar becomes your most powerful ally in mastering deep work. Chapter 6. Guarding your attention, saying no, and setting boundaries. One of the biggest challenges to deep work is social pressure. People ask for your time, meetings appear, and expectations build. Learning to guard your attention is not rude, it is essential. When you protect your time, you protect your ability to do valuable work. Boundaries are not barriers, they are tools that let you deliver higher quality results. Saying no is an important skill. Many people feel uncomfortable when turning down requests, but saying yes to every small task means saying no to the big work that matters. Before accepting a request, ask yourself 2 questions. Does this align with my top priorities? If I say yes, what will I have to say no to? These questions help you make deliberate choices. You do not need to give long excuses. A short and kind, "I can't right now, but I can help later," works well. Set clear rules for meetings and calls. Do not let them slice away your best hours. Create a policy. Only add meetings during certain times, keep them short, and make every meeting have a clear agenda. When you are invited to a meeting without an agenda or at your deep work time, push back. Suggest an alternative time or ask for a concise agenda so you can decide whether the meeting is necessary. Use your calendar to communicate boundaries. Make your availability visible, but controlled. If you work with a team, set shared hours for collaboration and separate hours for focus. Over time, people learn and adapt. When your team knows you are in deep work during certain hours, interruptions drop. Boundaries extend to digital attention too. You do not have to be reachable every minute. Create clear rules for how often you check messages and email. For example, check email only at 11 a.m. This reduces the pull of constant alerts. When you must be reachable in emergencies, define what counts as an emergency so that only critical items interrupt your flow. Teach others how to respect your focus. This could be as simple as a message, "I'm working deeply from 9:11. For urgent matters, text me. Otherwise, I will reply after 11. Repeating this message helps set expectations. If family members or roommates interrupt, explain the importance of the work and install a visible signal like a closed door or a sign. Create small rituals that protect focus. A do not disturb sign, headphones, or a simple color-coded calendar can indicate that you are in deep work. Even small signals work because they reduce casual interruptions. People are more likely to respect a visible cue than a vague request. Boundaries also include your personal mental rules. You can be strict about not checking social media during work hours, or allow short breaks only after meeting a progress goal. The key is consistency. When you treat your rules as commitments to yourself, your ability to focus strengthens. There are times when boundaries require negotiation. If your job requires frequent availability, negotiate for blocks of protected time. Explain how deep work will help you produce better results for the team. Often, leaders will value focused work once they see the improved output. A story. A software team at a small company adopted Focus Fridays, where no meetings were scheduled and engineers could work uninterrupted. At first, people worried about missing important items. After a few weeks, the team noticed faster progress on features and fewer last-minute crises. The protected time let them write better code and reduce bugs. The policy created a culture that respected deep work. Practice a boundary experiment. For 1 week, choose 2 focused blocks and protect them from meetings and chats. When someone requests time, offer an alternate. Notice how your output changes and how others respond. Keep a note of objections or doubts you feel, and use them to refine how you explain your boundaries. Guarding your attention is not a one-time act. It is ongoing. You will need to reset boundaries occasionally, But each step you take to protect your time makes deep work more possible. The fewer small interruptions you accept, the more likely you will produce work that matters. Chapter 7. Tools and Techniques to Enter and Maintain Deep Focus. We have covered the brain, environment, rituals, and scheduling. Now let us look at concrete tools and techniques that help you get into deep work and stay there. These methods are practical, adaptable, and simple. Pick a few to try and keep practicing. The Pomodoro technique is a popular tool. It breaks work into short intervals, typically 25 minutes of focus followed by a 5-minute break, with a longer break after 4 intervals. This method benefits people who find long blocks hard to start. The short bursts create a sense of urgency and make starting easier. You can adjust the timing to fit your rhythm. Maybe 50 minutes of focus with a 10-minute break works better for you. Single tasking is another core practice. Choose one task and do not switch until you have completed a meaningful portion or the session ends. Resist the urge to open multiple documents or apps. This practice helps you dig deeper into a problem and reduces the cost of switching attention. Use focus music or soundscapes if music helps you concentrate. Some people prefer instrumental music or low-volume ambient sounds. Others need complete silence. Find what works for you. Websites and apps provide playlists specifically designed for concentration. If you choose music, keep it consistent across sessions so your brain learns to associate it with work. Time blocking is a useful technique that complements scheduling. Block specific time for tasks in your calendar, including deep work, shallow work, and breaks. When you allocate time explicitly, you reduce the likelihood of wandering into low-value activities. Another tool is the attention log. Keep a simple journal where you record distractions. What pulled you away when it happened and how long it lasted. Over time, the log reveals patterns. You may discover that certain websites, times of day, or types of notifications cause the most trouble. Once identified, you can remove or guard against those triggers. Practice deliberate practice for skill-building tasks. Break a skill into smaller components and focus on improving one component at a time. For example, if you are learning to write better, focus one session on crafting clear openings, another on transitions, and another on editing. This focused approach helps your brain learn more efficiently than random practice. Use the working backward method for creative problems. Begin with the desired result and write the steps needed to reach it. This clarifies the pathway and reduces the chance of wandering. For example, if your goal is to publish an article, list the sections, then schedule blocks to write each section. Leverage technology wisely. Use website blockers, productivity apps, and timer tools to support your focus. But be careful. New tools can become another source of distraction. Choose a small set of reliable tools and stick with them. Simplicity reduces friction and decision fatigue. A helpful technique for refocusing mid-session is the 10-second reset. When you notice your mind wandering, take 10 seconds to close your eyes, breathe, and refocus on the next concrete step. These short resets can keep your attention on task without breaking your concentration. For teams, use asynchronous communication to reduce meetings. Share updates in documents or messaging channels that others can read when they choose. Reserve meetings for discussion and decision-making, not for status updates. This practice allows individuals to schedule focused time and return to collaboration on their terms. Finally, practice mindfulness and meditation. Even 5 to 10 minutes of daily meditation can strengthen your attention. Mindfulness teaches you to notice distractions without judgment and to return to the task with less friction. Over time, your ability to maintain deep focus will improve. Try a 60-minute experiment, choose a technique or two, maybe Pomodoro and a website blocker, and commit to a full session. Start with a clear goal, run your chosen method, and note how it affects your focus. Small, consistent practice with these tools is how deep work becomes a stable habit. Chapter 8. Recovering and Recharging. Rest as part of deep work. Deep work is demanding. To sustain it, you must rest well. Rest is not a luxury. It is part of the system. Without recovery, your capacity for focus will decline. Rest supports clarity, creativity, and resilience. This chapter explores practical ways to recover so that your deep work remains strong over time. First, prioritize sleep. Sleep is where memory consolidates and the brain clears metabolic waste. Poor sleep impairs attention and decision-making. Aim for a consistent sleep schedule with enough hours for recovery. If you struggle with sleep, try small changes. Reduce screen time before bed. Keep the room cool and dark, and establish a calming pre-sleep routine like reading or gentle stretching. Short breaks during the day are crucial. Follow your work cycles with intentional pauses. After a 60-90 minute deep session, step away for 10-20 minutes. Move your body, breathe deeply, and let your mind rest. A short walk outside improves blood flow and brings new sensory input to refresh your thinking. Avoid screens during breaks when possible. Screens often draw you into more distraction. Micro-rest practices also help. Techniques like progressive muscle relaxation, mindful breathing, or even a short eye exercise can quickly reduce tension and restore focus. These practices are easy to do between sessions and help you return to work with renewed attention. Physical exercise is a powerful form of recovery. Regular movement improves alertness, mood, and cognitive function. Even moderate activity like a brisk walk, yoga, or light cardio increases blood flow and helps you think more clearly. Build exercise into your weekly routine as a non-negotiable part of your work system. Nutrition and hydration matter. The brain uses glucose to power attention. Eating balanced meals and staying hydrated keeps your energy steady. Avoid heavy meals right before a deep session, which can cause sluggishness. Small, healthy snacks can support sustained focus. Mental rest includes doing things that gently engage your mind without stress. Creative hobbies, listening to music, gardening, or cooking provide low-pressure stimulation that helps the brain recover. These activities allow different neural networks to operate and give your focused networks time to recharge. The idea of active rest is valuable. Active rest means doing low-intensity activities that refresh you. For example, going for a short bike ride or sketching in a journal provides restful recovery while keeping you gently engaged. Schedule longer periods of recovery too. Once a week, take a day with lighter demands. Once a quarter, plan a longer break to step away from work and recharge fully. These regular rest cycles prevent burnout and keep your long-term productivity healthy. Create a bedtime ritual to separate work from sleep. A consistent pre-sleep sequence, dim lights, light reading, planning the next day, signals your brain that it is time to wind down. Avoid stimulating work or heated discussions before bed, which can increase cognitive arousal and delay sleep. Mental boundaries at the end of the day matter. Use a shutdown routine to close your workday, review progress, and set a simple goal for tomorrow. When your workday has a clear end, your mind can rest more fully, and you will return to deep work with fresher energy. Finally, accept that your capacity for deep work varies. Some days you will feel energetic and focused for long periods. Other days, fatigue will limit your ability. Plan accordingly. On low-energy days, shift to lighter tasks or do shorter deep sessions. The consistency matters more than pushing through exhaustion. Practice a recovery plan this week. Why? After your next 2 deep work sessions, take at least a 20-minute break where you move your body and avoid screens. Before bed, do a short routine that prepares you for sleep. Track how you feel the next day and adjust accordingly. Rest is not a pause from progress. It is a vital part of the progress. When you treat recovery as essential, your deep work becomes more effective, creative, and sustainable. Chapter 9. Measuring Progress, Feedback, and Improvement. To grow your deep work capacity, you need feedback. Measuring progress helps you understand what works and what does not. Without reflection, habits become rituals without direction. With measurement, you can adjust and improve. Measurement does not need to be complex. Simple habits of tracking and review provide powerful insights. Start with basic metrics. Track the time spent in deep work sessions each day. A simple log, date, duration, focus score, how focused you felt, and main outcome is enough. Over weeks, the pattern will show how often you get into deep work and how productive those sessions are. A focus score of 1 to 10 helps you see quality, not just quantity. Record the outcomes of sessions. Every session should aim to produce something, a step closer to a draft, a solved problem, a completed experiment. Note the clear result. This practice ties time to value. It also motivates you. Seeing completed outcomes creates momentum. Use a distraction log as part of measurement. Note what distracted you and when. Over time, you will see patterns. Certain apps, times of day, or meeting types that break your focus. Removing or guarding those triggers improves your success rate. A weekly review is essential. Once a week, spend 15 to 30 minutes reviewing your deep work log. Ask simple questions. Did I meet my goals? Which sessions were most effective? What distractions repeated? What will I change next week? This short reflection turns experience into learning. If you like numbers, consider a simple point system. Assign points for deep work sessions and outcomes. For example, 1 point for every 30 minutes of focused time and 2 points for completing a major task. The goal is not to gamify work for its own sake, but to create a clear feedback signal that encourages consistent, meaningful effort. Feedback also comes from others. Share your goals with a mentor or accountability partner who can review your progress and offer external perspective. Weekly check-ins with someone who cares about your goals can boost consistency and give new ideas for improvement. Be careful with perfectionism in measurement. The point is to learn, not to create pressure. If your metrics make you anxious, simplify them. Use a single weekly measure, the number of focused sessions completed. Make the system small enough that you will keep doing it. Use qualitative feedback too. Notice how your confidence and clarity change when you practice deep work. Do you solve problems faster? Do you feel more creative? Are you less anxious about deadlines? These feelings are valid measures of progress. Adjust based on feedback. If your review shows that long sessions often fail in the afternoon, shift deep blocks to the morning. If social media breaks your flow, add a website blocker or receive messages only at certain times. The goal is continuous improvement through small experiments. A long-term measure is skill growth. Over months, your ability to tackle complex tasks with less effort is a signal that deep work has improved your capacity. Notice how you learn new skills faster and make fewer mistakes. These improvements are the most meaningful feedback of all. Try a simple tracking experiment for the next month. Keep a daily log of your deep work sessions and do a weekly review. Make one change each week based on your review. A new ritual, a different time block, or a new tool. Observe how small, consistent adjustments change your productivity over time. Measurement transforms deep work from a vague intention into a guided practice. It gives you the data to learn and the structure to improve. Use it kindly and consistently, and you will see steady progress. Deep work is a skill and a lifestyle. To make it last, you need identity and support. Identity means seeing yourself as the kind of person who values focused work. Community means creating social structures that support your habit. Growth means committing to long-term improvement. Together, these elements turn occasional focus into a lasting practice. Begin with identity. How do you describe yourself to others and to yourself? If you say, "I'm not a morning person," or "I can't concentrate," you reinforce limits. Instead, choose language that aligns with your goals. "I prioritize focused work," or "I create long blocks of attention for the tasks that matter." These simple identity shifts influence your decisions and your confidence. Build small wins that support this identity. Each completed deep session is evidence. Collect these wins in your log and remind yourself of them when doubt appears. Over time, a string of successful days will create a new self-image, someone who can focus and produce high-quality work. Community and accountability help sustain deep work. Share your commitments with others who want to grow. This could be a study group, a team of colleagues, or an online community dedicated to focus. When others share your values, you get support, ideas, and encouragement. Accountability partners can do weekly check-ins, celebrate wins, and help you get back on track when life gets busy. Create a learning plan for continuous growth. Decide which skills you want to develop and how deep work will support them. Set quarterly goals and break them into monthly milestones. Use your deep work blocks to practice deliberately on these goals. This plan turns vague ambition into concrete action. Ritualize long-term reflection. Once every few months, review your progress and adjust your habits. Ask, what have I learned? Which routines work best? How has deep work changed my output and happiness? These reflective moments keep you adaptive and prevent habits from becoming stale. Balance deep work with social life and rest. A life of focus does not mean a life of isolation. Schedule time to connect with friends and family, exercise, and enjoy hobbies. These parts of life fuel creativity and make deep work more meaningful. When deep work is part of a balanced life, it becomes sustainable. Teach and share what you learn. Explaining deep work to others clarifies your own understanding and spreads helpful habits. When you help a friend set up a deep work routine, you reinforce your own practice. Teaching becomes a source of motivation and accountability. Prepare for setbacks. Life will interrupt your best habits. Travel, sickness, or new responsibilities will disrupt routines. Expect this and plan how to return. Keep small rituals you can do anywhere. A 2-minute startup sequence or a short focus practice, so you can maintain continuity even when life gets busy. Finally, cultivate patience. Deep work produces significant results, but it often works slowly. Skill growth and meaningful projects take time. Stay consistent and allow progress to compound. Like a tree that grows slowly but steadily, small efforts lead to deep knowledge and strong outputs. Imagine your life 5 years from now if you consistently protected 2 hours of deep work each weekday. The cumulative effect would be enormous. Projects completed, skills mastered, and a body of work you can be proud of. This vision can motivate you on difficult days. Make a commitment today. Choose one identity statement that fits your goals. Find one accountability partner or group and schedule your deep work blocks for the week. Make one small ritual to start each session. When you combine identity, community, and consistent practice, deep work becomes not just an occasional state, but a way of life. Oh Tron, we have covered what deep work is, how your brain supports focus, how to design your environment, rituals and routines that trigger work, scheduling strategies, ways to guard your attention, tools and techniques, the importance of rest, measuring progress, and building a long-term lifestyle around deep work. Each chapter is a step you can take today. The true power comes from small, consistent actions repeated over time. Now, pick one thing to try this week. Schedule a deep work block, create a startup ritual, or guard your attention for 2 hours. Keep the experiment simple and kind to yourself. Notice what changes, take notes, and adjust. You can do this. Focus is a skill, and like any skill, it grows with practice. Start small, protect your attention, and celebrate your progress. If you want more strategies and simple English lessons on productivity and self-growth, subscribe to BetterSelf and join our next video. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep building the life you want, one deep session at a time.